What's up, y'all? Thanks for stopping by the Search T channel. In this video, I'm going to be talking about director Todd Phillips. Now, he's the man, or the filmmaker, behind Joker. And this article that appeared online in October the 1st is by the playlist. And it is an article by Charles Barfield. He gets the credit. And it reads, Todd Phillips explains why he left comedies for Joker. Go try to be funny nowadays with this woke culture. When it was announced that Todd Phillips was the man who would co-write and direct Joker, people were shocked. Not because Phillips is tackling a comic book film, or even because he's some sort of terrible filmmaker. He clearly isn't. But instead because he's best known for his raunchy comedies such as The Hangover. But according to the director, there's a very good reason he ditched comedies for hard-hitting dramatic Joker woke culture. Aside of the Hangover franchise, the director is also known as the helmer behind comedies such as Old School, Road Trip, and Starsky and Hutch. Not necessarily the CV that would lend itself to making an R-rated, hard-boiled crime film such as Joker. Speaking to Vanity Fair, Phillips explained why it's unlikely that he'll go back to making his comedies anytime soon. Go try and be funny nowadays with this woke culture, Phillips said. There were articles written about why comedies don't work anymore. I'll tell you why, because all the fucking funny guys are like, fuck this shit because I don't want to offend you. He continued, it's hard to argue with 30 million people on Twitter. You just can't do it right. You just go, I'm out. And you know what? With all my comedies, I think that what comedies in general all have in common is they're irrelevant. So I go, how do I do something irrelevant but fuck comedy? Oh, I know. Just take a comic book, movie universe, and turn it on its head with this. And so that's really where that came from. Joker isn't the director's first foray into the post-raunch world. Despite its obvious humor, one could argue that his previous film, War Dogs, is the bridge between the Todd Phillips who brought audiences Hangover and the man behind the new comic book film that is expected to get some serious Oscar discussion. So despite his filmography filled with broad comedies, it would appear that the filmmaker is entering a new phase in his career, and if you don't like it, then you should blame society, or so Phillips says. Joker is hitting theaters on October 4th, and I'm definitely looking forward to that film. And it doesn't surprise me that this has happened to Todd Phillips' career. It pretty much says, why stick to filming the type of films he used to film? Great comedies at that, Old School, Road Trip, Starsky and Hutch. Those were pretty funny movies. I liked his take on the classic TV series Starsky and Hutch. I thought it was funny. Had Owen Wilson and Ben Stiller in it. Road Trip and Old School. Those were just the typical raunchy comedies that we used to see in the 80s and 90s, And, of course, The Hangover. Big hits, And this is one guy that said, I'm not going to, kowtow. I'm not going to give in or let these guys tell me what to do. So, like he says, man, he's going to take the Joker film franchise, whatever you want to call it, and turn it on its head. And it's because of the woke culture. He says, okay, you guys don't want me, you won't let me do the comedies I want to do, well, then I'm going to take Joker and I'm going to, hit you over the head with it. Pretty much is what he's saying, And, I've tried to stray away from subjects like this because it does get me pretty upset, and it does get my my dander up, if you will. But I've tried to just kind of take it for what it is, and I like the fact that he's doing this, because I've always said this. I said what these guys need to do is to tell the SJWs and the woke culture and all that just to F off, just to go away. If you tell them to fuck off, if you tell them, I don't even know why I'm trying not to curse. I've done this in videos before, and sometimes I will do this, but it's like, just tell them to go fuck off, just tell them to just go into your little corner, with your wet blanket and your pacifier, and let the adults, handle their business. They'll go away if you just tell them to go, to go away, and we're not listening to you, we're not paying attention to you, because you're just a minority, you're just a little percentage of the population that wants those type of films. And because the culture now, if you say anything, Hollywood and all these other entities out there, they'll side with the SJWs because it's like the in thing to do, I guess. It's like the we gotta, this is the new agenda that we can jump on and stuff like that. And I've never thought of Joker as being woke, and it isn't. And good for Todd Phillips for the fact that he is doing this. He's like, hell with them, I'm not letting them dictate my career and what, so I'm gonna do these type of films. And good for him. And then there's like possible Oscar buzz. He might get a nomination for director, maybe the film will get nominated. I mean, Joaquin Phoenix, people are saying he's going to get a nomination. There's been nothing but praise for his performance for people who've gotten to see the film in pre-screenings and all that stuff. So one day the woke culture will go away. One day. It's going to take maybe a couple of decades. Maybe the next generation will stand up and tell these guys to go get the hell out of here, and we're taking over and we're bringing back the films and the type of comedy and the type of subjects that you guys kept pushing away, and you kept bitching and moaning, and that all these people don't want to kowtow to you guys or letting you guys get away with it. But one day you guys won't get away with it. And more power to Todd Phillips and whatever else he does. I enjoy his work. The films that I previously said are great films. I haven't seen War Dogs, and I heard nothing but good stuff about that. So I'm gonna watch Joker, and I know I'm gonna enjoy it, and then I'm gonna continue to be a fan of Todd Phillips, because he stood up for himself. And that's something that people in Hollywood, the little guys out there, the little women out there, the ones who are being held down because the fact that they're not allowed to express themselves because of the agenda right now, the woke agenda, the woke culture. Hopefully, you guys will get your time to be back in the limelight and be able to do what you want to do, and do what what you're known to do, and where your strengths are, and not having to just pretty much censor yourself and change it up. I mean, Todd Phillips is doing it in the right way, and he's actually changed up his career, and he's being successful, even more so probably than ever. So let me know what you think down below. This is my video about Todd Phillips, and pretty much he's expressed why he left comedy, and he is now tackling subjects and tackling themes in movies like The Joker. Well, those of you who stopped by, thanks for watching. I appreciate it. And in closing, and as always, take care.